Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're continuing in the Zera Shimshon. We're in Parshat Vayakhel Ois Dalet. Before we begin, we want to thank the Dvar Torah Foundation for sponsoring and making the shir available, and offering the bracha that they should be able to continue to be Ma'areh Kvod Shemayim. Normally, Parshat Vayakhel is together with Pekudei. Now, this is one of the rare cases that Vayakhel is a standalone parsha. That affords us now the ability to really focus specifically and primarily on Vayakhel. One of the things that Vayakhel discusses, besides again repeating the importance of Shabbos, discusses in accounting the summary of the binyan of the Mishkan. Now, one of the psukim discusses the role that the Nashim had, specifically in the producing and the production and the weaving of the coverings and the curtains of the Mishkan. So the pasuk says in Perek Lamed Hey Pasuk Chavav, V'chol HaNashim Asher Nasa Liban, all the Nashim that their hearts inspired them and had the wisdom of knowing how to weave specifically a very complex production, they were chosen, they came forth to build the curtains for the Mishkan and the coverings. Now the Zera Shimshon says that's not really the way to look at the pasuk. The pasuk really says, if you read the pasuk, it says V'chol HaNashim Asher Nasa Liban, all the Nashim that their hearts carried them, that their hearts desired to produce the coverings for the Mishkan. The Zera Shimshon says it doesn't make sense. Im Nasa Liban Oison, if their hearts carry them, Mikri Shehem B'Rishus Liban. That means that their hearts control them. And somebody that their hearts control them, Harezu Midas Rishayim. That's called a Rasha. As it says in the Yalkut, Vayomer Shem Aliva, Tzadikim Libam B'Rishusam, the Tzadikim, their hearts are in their control. Tzadikim control their heart desire. Varisham Hem Rishus Libam. And the Rishayim are in the Rishus of their hearts. So Zera Shimshon says that can't be what the pasuk is coming to teach us. Must be the pasuk is teaching us something else, and we have to learn the pasuk in the correct manner. Now, before we begin with the answer, the Zera Shimshon is going to focus through the answer. A very interesting question. How does a person know what is his best opportunity or the occupation that would be best fit for him for parnasa? How does he know? Right? Today there's mevinim, there's experts, and they try to tell you what to do, how to do it. You should do this, you should look at that. But what is the right hashkafa api derech haTorah? How does a person know from Shemayim where he'll be successful and where is his primarily focus should be on? So the Zera Shimshon says, V'yesh loymar. In order to answer this question, let's learn the pasuk the correct way. And the Zera Shimshon gives an introduction. Women are unable, or it's impossible for their hearts to control them. Women are not chased by their desires. Why? They are under the rishus of their husbands. And therefore they're not in the rishus of their hearts. If they violate the laws of Moshe and Yehadus, of Sneas and Pritzes, you'll have nobody that will want to marry this individual. The Gemara gives a very profound statement that an Isha would rather be married, rather have a company of somebody, than to be alone. And an Isha is not a keshera, only the one that does the will of the husband and helps him to perform Torah mitzvahs. Now, therefore, with that understanding, how do we learn the pasuk? If an Isha is in the rishus of her husband, now I know it's a very dangerous thing to say, but especially a man has an obligation to take care of his wife. The wife does not have an obligation to take care of the husband. Therefore, she's under the rishus of the husband. Now, it's true the Gemara says that a lady who earns more than her husband can say, I don't need your support, I can take care of myself. Now, she still does have obligations to the husband, as she gives when she marries him, and also the husband has the obligation that he promises her in the ksuba. But since the husband's primary obligation is to support the wife and her children, his children or her own children, therefore she's considered under the rishus of the husband. And therefore, how do we understand the pasuk, says the Zera Shimshon, when it says that their hearts control them? It's not true. Here, the pasuk is teaching us something that needs an extra unique chachma. This weaving, a lot of people can weave, but the expert craftsmanship and the artistry that was needed, that was unique. And therefore, as Rashi explains, to learn such a complex and advanced type of craftsmanship, a person can't just learn it, right? If a person wants to be an expert craftsman, either he has the talent, as we're going to see, or he doesn't. Which means someone has the talent, they can hone it, they can focus on it, they can work on it, and now they're a superstar. But if somebody wants to be a craftsman but doesn't have the talent, he could work from today till tomorrow, he won't be able to be a craftsman. Right? For example, there are certain individuals that can be an artist. They can draw beautiful paintings. So they can work on it to be even better. They can take it to the next level. But somebody who can't even draw a picture can't be an artist. So the Zera Shimshon says this type of koyach, this type of chachma that was needed for the Mishkan wasn't a regular individual who could be a tailor or a weaver. As Rashi explains, even if he wants to do it, if he doesn't have the talent, it's not going to help him. Even if he wants to do it. If he has the spirit, the talent, right? Some people are able to be a contractor. Some people are able to be artists. Some people can play music. They don't have to learn anything. They all of a sudden could pick up a guitar, could pick up a drum, and they could play music like no one's business. There's some people that can take a painting and they can draw beautiful paintings. So those individuals, says the Zera Shimshon, is what Hashem wanted. Shema mina shu muchen b'tiva lilmoid im yirtz l'troach. All the nashim that were able to carry their hearts, which means that it's true that on a simple explanation, their hearts didn't carry them. But if they had the spirit within them, says the Zera Shimshon, which means that there's people are naturally inclined to certain talents, right? If you are a beautiful artist, if you are good with your hands, and you're able to be a contractor. There's some people that are great with their hands. There's some people that have a netiya to be an accountant. They're great in math. They're great in numbers. Okay, an actuary. There are some people that are very good at logic. They can be a good lawyer. That is the spirit that Hashem infused in the individuals, and that is the derech that Hashem wants you to go, as is brought down in Chavis Halavavos. So the pasuk is teaching us that there were women that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them the special spirit, the special chachma, specifically to build and to create the very complex curtains and coverings for the base for the Mishkan. They were the ones that were chosen, and they came forward to do the curtains and the coverings of the Mishkan. So we see from here that it wasn't just any Isha that wanted to come and to build the coverings. Of course, we want them, but they wouldn't have been able to do it. Rather, there were unique women that HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose and gave them the spirit and the chachma to be able to weave the complex art and the complex intertwining of different materials to create the beautiful pictures that came out of the coverings. Those were the nashim that they chose. And from here, the Zera Shimshon learns out that when a person has a netiya to a certain thing, right? Everybody knows, I like math, I like science, I like biology, I like to build things. I'm good at construction. There's some people, they came out of their, they grew up and with a tool and a drill in their hands and they're unbelievable. And there's some people that can build, a simple table, just the way Hashem created, but they have other kaichas. And that is what Hashem wants, as is brought down in the Chavis Halavavos.